Open world games have become some of the most popular games, with games like Fallout 4, The Witcher 3, and Metal Gear Solid 5 all releasing in 2015. Gamers have had a steady stream of quality open world titles to pick from this year. But what about 2016? In this video, we take a look at the top 10 upcoming open world games of 2016. Number 10, Far Cry Primal. Far Cry has always been a staple whenever you talk about the best open world games, but Far Cry Primal by Ubisoft Montreal looks to take the series in a different direction. The game is set in 10,000 BC, during the Stone Age. Humans have just discovered fire and began to use stones to create tools for daily life. You play as Takar, a man who starts off as an unarmed hunter but eventually rises to become the leader of his own tribe. While Far Cry Primal will still have elements of previous Far Cry games, obviously since the game is taking place in the Stone Age, the traditional gunplay is completely removed. Instead, players can only get access to melee weapons such as spears, clubs, axes, and short-range weapons like bows. Not only will you go against the wildlife in the game such as mammoths, direwolves, bears, saber-toothed cats, and more, as the leader of a tribe, you will have to also fight other tribes and protect your fellow members. Far Cry Primal is very different from the traditional Far Cry game, but it also has a lot of promise. You'll be able to play the game on February 23rd on PS4 and Xbox One, and in March for PC. Number 9, Homefront: The Revolution. Homefront: The Revolution is a sequel to 2011's Homefront and takes place 2 years after the conclusion of the original title. The game follows Ethan Brady as he leads a resistance movement against the army of a Korean invasion in the city of Philadelphia. Despite Homefront's mixed reviews, the original game's premise had a lot of promise, and while the campaign was very short, it also had the potential to be very fleshed out. With the sequel, developer Dambuster Studio are dropping the original game's linear gameplay in favor of an open world setting.
You pull that lever, and down they go.
Homefront's story is a more captivating one compared to your typical first-person shooter, and while the original game didn't blow us away in every aspect, we hope that Homefront: The Revolution can deliver where the original game did not when it releases in spring of 2016. Number 8, Crackdown 3. The first Crackdown game initially gained fame for including the Halo 3 beta for pre-ordering the game. Then people came to the realization that, hey, Crackdown is actually a really good game. This spawned a sequel, Crackdown 2, that was released in July of 2010, which was released to more mixed reviews than the original. Now we have another entry in the series, Crackdown 3. Crackdown 3 is once again a fast-paced third-person shooter taking place in a giant sandbox. Elements from the previous games have been retained, but quite possibly the most exciting thing about Crackdown 3 is the fact that the game will feature fully destructible environments in the multiplayer thanks to the power of the Xbox One's cloud computing.
Experience unrelenting destruction and mayhem.
The destruction will also be available in the campaign mode, but to a limited degree, since the campaign mode won't be using the cloud computing, so they have limited resources. We hope for the best out of Crackdown 3 when it releases summer of 2016. Number 7, Mafia 3. This is a game that has been long awaited. Ever since 2010's Mafia 2 brought great gameplay with a very engaging story, fans have been clamoring for a third entry in the Mafia series. Well, 2K is finally delivering with Mafia 3. Mafia 3 is set in 1968 New Orleans, and unlike Mafia 2's relatively linear design, Mafia 3 will be a full-blown open-world game allowing players to freely explore New Orleans.
Who's the big Italian mob boss, and you'll be doing that by damaging his various rackets.
Mafia 3 has been in development for a very long time, and the resources of the game was eventually allocated to a brand new development studio called Hangar 13, and this game will be the studio's debut title. They'll want to put out a great game for their first title, and that's what we hope for out of Mafia 3 when it releases sometime in 2016. Number 6, Mirror's Edge Catalyst. The original Mirror's Edge game in 2008 had a cult following but never had major commercial success. Fans have been wanting another game for a long time, and while Mirror's Edge Catalyst isn't a sequel, rather it's a prequel featuring the main character Faith's past, it's exactly the type of game fans of the original wanted. The game takes place in the City of Glass, and while the original Mirror's Edge game had a super linear design, Mirror's Edge Catalyst leaves it more open, allowing the player to traverse from rooftop to rooftop, creating a more explorable world in Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
What the hell? Just saw a couple of KSAT guards hassling an employee.
Being developed by DICE, Mirror's Edge Catalyst runs on the Frostbite 3 engine and will be released on May 24th. Number 5, Kingdom Come: Deliverance. Developed by Warhorse Studios, Kingdom Come: Deliverance looks like one of the most promising open-world games of 2016. Yet at the same time, this game is really falling under the radar. Kingdom Come: Deliverance takes place in the 15th century medieval kingdom of Bohemia, and the game focuses on historically accurate and realistic content. The RPG looks to have a gorgeous open world running on the CryEngine, and it's a game you would expect everyone to be very excited about, but as I said, it's just been falling a little under the radar. Hopefully that changes when Kingdom Come: Deliverance is ready to release on PC in 2016 and on PS4 and Xbox One sometime later on. Number 4, No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is one of the most ambitious open world games ever. The small team over at Hello Games aren't just looking to give players an open world game, no, rather they are attempting to create an open universe game with procedurally generated planets with over 18 quintillion planets to explore. You have to survive on these various different planets, team up with others, and hopefully reach the center of the galaxy. There are also rumors that No Man's Sky will use Sony's virtual reality PlayStation VR. That isn't confirmed yet, but an announcement like that would surely only amplify everyone's excitement about the game. Regardless, No Man's Sky releases on PC and PS4 in June of 2016. Number 3, Scalebound. Platinum Games is staying busy with developing many different games, one of the most exciting being the open-world action RPG Scalebound. In Scalebound, you play as Drew, accompanied by his own dragon called Thuban. You use a variety of different weapons and issue different commands to your dragon to defeat enemies in this gorgeous open world running on the Unreal Engine 4. The game's open world looks to blend imagination and realism, with 80% of the world being based on Earth's landscapes, while the other 20% is shaped using the in-game pulse energy. In the initial demo of Scalebound, the game did suffer from quite a bit of frame rate issues, so hopefully that's something that can be ironed out by the time the game's ready to ship sometime late in 2016. Number 2, Final Fantasy XV. Final Fantasy XV has been in development for a very, very long time. Originally announced back in 2006 for the PlayStation 3, it is now one of the most anticipated Xbox One and PS4 games of 2016. A big reason for the anticipation of Final Fantasy XV is due to its gorgeous open world with a seamless mix of an action-based battle system. The game takes place in a modern-day Earth and features a gigantic world of a variety of different terrains and land to explore. Final Fantasy XV will also be the first game in the series to run on Square Enix's Luminous Studios. Final Fantasy XV is a very ambitious game, looking to deliver a huge explorable open world, seamlessly integrated gameplay, and an engaging story all in one game. It's something that is going to take a lot to deliver to fans' expectations, and we can only hope that Square Enix does so when the game releases sometime in 2016. Number 1, Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon has so much potential. This game could be one of PlayStation 4's system sellers of 2016 alongside Uncharted 4. It's such a unique game, an open world action RPG with mech-like dinosaurs. It's all very different than what the developers Guerrilla Games typically do. Guerrilla is famous for their development of the Killzone games, and the least to say is that Killzone is very different than Horizon. If nothing else, you have to commend Guerrilla for trying something so different and risky and having the confidence that it will deliver. And from what we've seen so far, they are delivering. The game's open world is gorgeous with a dynamic day and night cycle, and the game will have no loading screens at all. Horizon could very well be one of the PlayStation's flagship series going forward, and we can't wait to play the game when it releases in 2016. So that wraps up our countdown of the top 10 open world games releasing in 2016. Do you agree with our list? Disagree? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.